Good Life on 938 Live.
Welcome into The Good Life with me, Daphne Lim, here on 938 Live. And it is indeed a very good life when you can see Singapore and appreciate Singapore's shoreline from a completely different point of view, which is exactly what I did earlier this week when I went on the Sunreef 62 with Captain Celine Flamain. She is the captain of Sunreef 62, which is managed by Blue Star Yachting. And I got to experience something that's becoming very common these days in Singapore. People taking day trips out, 3 hours, 5 hours, just out to our waters and just, enjoying Singapore's skyline from a completely different point of view, being out on the water, sipping some champagne and wine, of course, because you don't have a good life unless you have a little bit of alcohol, especially when you're on a luxury yacht. I have Celine here with me in the studio as well. Welcome into the Good Life, Captain.
Hi, good morning, Daphne. Pleasure to be here with you this morning.
Very good morning. I've dragged you away from the yacht, which was beautiful and lovely, and such a great experience, to the 938 Live studio. I'm sorry, are you having a land lakes, as they call it?
Well, I'm starting to get a little bit of land sickness at the moment. Yes, this is a little bit too steady for me.
Does that happen often? Because you do stay on the boat quite a lot.
It actually does happen the same way people who come on board the first time would not necessarily have their sea legs and feel the boat moving a little bit too much. When we spend a lot of time on board, we, the crew, get a little bit dizzy when we get back on land on terra firma.
Do you do the same things to counter seasickness with land sickness?
It's actually nowhere near as bad.
Okay, let's get back to your story, Celine. How did you end up with Sunreef 62?
Well, basically, I was passing through Singapore a few months ago. I'm a long-distance cruiser myself, and so I ended up getting into the job, taking over from the previous captain about 3 months ago. The business itself has been in existence for about a couple of years. We've just about rebranded the whole business into Blue Star Yachting, and we are basically taking clients around Singapore waters and all the way to Tioman, possibly Indonesia as well. So this is what we do on a day-to-day basis.
So what kind of routes were you taking before as compared to now?
Well, before, the core of the business was actually mostly corporate entertainment inside Singapore waters. The spin we're trying to give to the business at the moment is take people a little bit further away. So in the right season, which is roughly between April and September, we like to take people up to Tioman for diving and snorkeling charters, because the waters up there are absolutely magnificent. It's pristine, it's clear, the wildlife is amazing. We're also trying to get people down to the Indonesian islands, the Rio Archipelago, Batam, Bintan, and the surrounding islands, because there's quite a few interesting dive spots down there as well. And interesting sights to see on land as well. So that's two of the key destinations that we target outside of Singapore itself, obviously.
So the yacht is actually fitted to be a dive boat as well?
The yacht does have diving gear on board, although when we go to Tioman or Indonesia, we do work with a local diving partner to provide all the equipment, the tanks, the safety, the dive masters, and all the equipment that is required for that kind of charters.
Right, so take us through the actual yacht then, Sunreef 62. What can we expect when we go in?
Sunreef 62 was built in Poland, so it's 62 feet, which is close to 20 meters, sailing catamaran, equipped with 2 auxiliary engines, which are quite powerful. So whether there is wind or not, there's always a way of getting somewhere. When you board the yacht, the first thing you will see is expensive areas of deck that is laid in beautiful teak wood, giving a very nice, warm, homely feeling of luxury. And this is by any standard and definition a luxury yacht. When guests come on board, they will have access to 4 cabins, ensuite cabins with air conditioning, beautiful large galley, wine coolers, fridge, freezer, ice makers, really all the comforts of home, except that the home in question is floating. But it's really by any means as comfortable as sitting at home having a glass of wine in front of the TV, except that the show is outside.
And how many people can actually fit? on the boat?
We are licensed for Singapore waters for up to 37 guests. When we go on longer trips, Indonesia or Tioman, 8 guests maximum, because then the guests need to have use of the full cabins.
Yeah, I was wondering how are you going to fit 30 people into 2 cabins?
It becomes more a floating hotel in that case, because people will need to sleep overnight as we're taking them to their final destination, and because we like to do overnight passages for them to actually wake up in the new environment of those beautiful islands.
Isn't that one of the most amazing things, being able to wake up on the water as the sun is rising? As much as you hate that 5:30 call of the bell ringing you to get up.
There's something absolutely priceless. It's really a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be able to experience a sunrise at sea. After all these long hours of darkness, when you're on watch on the bridge, and then all of a sudden the first glimpse of light comes over the horizon, this is something truly unique that we hope our guests will come and enjoy with us.
Do you live on board, Celine?
The crew lives on board. I don't. I have other accommodation arrangement, but yeah, normally crew lives on board these super yachts. Yes.
Do you guys who are basically seafarers ever get tired of being out at sea, working, living at sea?
Well, we're actually very lucky, because for us it's like we've actually managed to turn a passion into a job, and there's no office routine or no boredom that comes out of it. Every day brings a new experience and brings new learning curves as well. And so for us, there's actually no such thing as the humdrum of getting into the office or getting tired or sick of it. We wouldn't be doing the job anymore.
It sounds like a joy. How did you get into it?
Well, I started sailing. I come from a very different background, but I started sailing over 12 years ago, like completely as an amateur. I started chartering my own yachts with some friends, groups of friends in the Caribbean, and then little by little, I took up some sailing qualifications, got a captain's license, and then got into the job itself and converted from a very different industry. So,
converted from a very different industry, something ideas that she's putting in my head. I am talking to Captain Celine Flamain. She is the captain of Sunreef 62, as managed by Blue Star Yachting. We'll be back on The Good Life in just a moment.
Good life, good life, good life.